Hello everyone, welcome back to Planetfar, where we are working on our outpost here with small ships and rovers and things since the engineers patch came out. So, what we did last episode was we built our small utility, I guess you could say hovercraft, though it doesn't hover quite perfectly yet, but it gets the job done. And you can swap it out for any of the preset tools to do your bidding. So that's a pretty cool thing that we did. Other than that, we put this little landing pad here as like a little depot. But the problem with parking vehicles out here, one, the landing pad's not big enough to have a fleet of ships. So that's a problem. And then also, another problem would be that, say, you're playing on survival and you don't want your ships just exposed and parked outside. I don't think, in my opinion, it would be a very safe or good thing to do, keeping multiplayer in mind, if you are playing on like a large server once the new multiplayer patch comes out. So what we want to do is try and get this thing stored down underground. And to do that, I have dug out a nice big hole, and we have our doorway, and I'll be building a elevator on this thing that usually will hopefully sit, up here, flush. It's basically acting like a blast door. And then running off of a sensor, it can sense a small vehicle, so we can park rovers down here or anything, really. And once it's sensed, there's a rover, it will toggle it to go down, and then once it starts going down, it'll stop here, and then once it doesn't sense a small ship again, it will go back up and park. Some other things that I have done is this is technically the main entrance into the outpost. So as you can see, we have two anti-personnel turrets manning this, and this is just for humans only. Vehicles shouldn't be driving into this area. This is just the main atrium of our outpost. It's not really done in any way, shape, or form. And then in the back of it, we have our staircase that will take us down into the hangar bays and some additional things. Maybe we can put residential down here, unless you guys want that to be on the surface. There can also be a med bay down here for sure. You can see how far underground we are. Now, it was suggested to actually hook up a lot of my doors with sensors, and I have done that, and I can actually show you guys basically how that works. I mean, you guys already assume. You walk close to it, it'll open. You walk away from it, it'll close. So I have a few sensors in the hallway. We can easily get back here. That'll close behind us. If we hop into our rover, actually, and disengage our parking brake, I have a sensor at this door that just senses small ships, which means the rover can go in and out, but personnel cannot unless they actually hit the button inside the hangar itself. And then it will actually close behind us. I actually need to park this thing again. So hold on. There we go. Open back up. Come on. Oh, don't crash. Oh well. Thinking about extending the sensor range out here a little bit more, but it might not be worth it in my opinion. What are you doing, you silly rover? I really don't think they're wonderful at climbing ramps for some reason. It's like it's hitting something. Doesn't normally do this. There we go. Yay, you're inside. We'll just park that again, and the door will close behind us. Everything. Did I damage it in any way, shape, or form? No. Everything looks fine. That's good. Alright, now let's head back over here. Of course, these doors are all hooked up as well. If we head outside, I want to show you guys that I wanted to think about power for the base. as we, in a survival situation, the devs say that uranium is going to be a hard thing to find, and technically it is. I haven't really found any on this save yet, so really that ship right there that runs on reactors would technically be running on battery power. You would just swap it out the reactors, put in batteries in its place, and there you go. You know, essentially work the exact same. It's just, yeah, I haven't found any uranium on the planet just yet. I have searched a little ways around the outpost, so that's a worrisome thing. And so what I've done was I've hooked up solar arrays, and I'm using conveyor tubes to kind of partially sink it to the ground, and it looks like main power connectors, which look pretty cool in my opinion. The solar panels are nice and low, kind of flush to the ground, and then this little area has some as well, because technically that reactor that I used to connect these and give it power really wouldn't be functioning from the get-go, so I would probably have to power it from there. So that's pretty much where we're at, and so we're just going to go ahead and start the building process at this point. Now I may have to mess with the terrain a whole lot to try and get this nice and smooth. As you can see, unlike medieval engineers, space engineers, it doesn't like to sink into terrain very much. And I hope that's something they bring over from medieval engineers, as it's just really nice to have. I don't know why they can't do it, and also I really hope they have combining blocks inside of other blocks. I think it would be really cool to be able to combine like a conveyor block into a normal block and have the functionality of both, essentially. That would be really, really awesome, and we would be able to hide our conveyors into the walls, and it would save a whole bunch of room. Because right now, in my opinion, Space Engineers is still one of the most bulky things to build in, especially with stations and stuff. We are playing vanilla, so that is a partial reason why it is like that. Okay. So we have this. Let's go ahead and clear out some more rock. And the same thing that I do with medieval engineers, I always use the capsule kind of voxel brush. It's definitely the easiest. Now, if you're in survival, you're going to be doing this by hand. And best of luck to you. I would suggest not doing anything underground. At least not for a while. Because you'll spend more time trying to dig this out and build something than basically producing, you know, good tech levels and things like that. So it's just sadly kind of a bonus of playing in creative, and it's also why I am playing the series in creative, because I want to get things done to kind of highlight things to work on in survival. So let's bring these columns down. Come on. There we go. And, well, we can work on our elevator, maybe. That'd be the best thing to do. In which case, we need to get rid of this, as all the internal components are going to be sunk into the ground to try and get the landing pad flush. And I didn't measure how far a piston goes, because really I do not know off the top of my head, so that's going to be a problem. Worst case scenario, we'll have to probably put a piston on top of one of each other just to get that extra height. There we go. We got a nice little cave for ourselves. Connect that up. And I thicken this up because this is going to be the main hangar area. Alright. And just make that transition, in my opinion, a little bit better. Looks like it's properly supported in some way. Now we just bring down these corners, which will allow us to work down here, hopefully. Or not. Come on, drag this out. To those of you who are new to Space Engineers, that haven't had a chance to play it earlier on and are wondering how I'm just dragging out these slabs in creative mode, if you hold left control, you can do lines, and then if you hold shift on top of that, you can do slabs, and it's kind of based on where you are from that center point. So if we want to go this way, we have to kind of move ourselves around. So that's something useful if you guys just don't know that, though. This game's been out long enough, really, that I'd be surprised if no one did. Okay. So let's grab a piston. Let's see. We need to go down one more. Alright. 2, 3, and 4. So that is our base kind of thing here. I guess I can show you guys how to hook pistons together. Let's first see if this even extends far enough. I really doubt it. Looking at where we are now. Let's see. I get the feeling it is not even going to come close. I mean, if it just reaches up to this bottom line, I think that'll be close enough, but we're about a block short. Interesting. So I can either raise the floor up a level to make it all flush, or I can add another piston onto it. Let's see, on these things, can you set the max height they can go? Because if so, we'll just slap another piston on it. Yeah, you can. Let's see what that looks like and works. I'm gonna have to drill down even farther for this. Thinking there. So we can put a piston on top of a piston. Block though. Wasn't nearly as far as I thought. There we go, and we are pretty much matching where we were. So let's go ahead and reverse both of these. See where we get. So I'll reverse one at a time, and then the second one I'll adjust to have the correct total maximum height. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Alright, so let's do 2 blocks, I guess. That should be it. So So maximum distance 2. Reverse. Okay, what kind of grid units are you guys using? Guess we had to bump it up to 4. What about 3? What's 3 like? Yeah, it's like a half block every unit. So there's 4. And we're still not quite flush, so we can bump it up just a little bit more. Let's do 4.5. Yeah, that's it. That's where we want it. So we know both of that work. In which case we can get rid of these. And I'll show you guys how to hook up a piston to another piston. If you guys didn't know it already, it is a common trick at this point. You essentially use merge blocks to combine 2 areas, then you place a block and it permanently pretty much welds them together, and you can get rid of the merge blocks again. Let's get rid of this thing so it doesn't fall. Oh, well, that still fell. And it fell again. Bye. There we go. Alright, now let's reverse this, and I'll just connect these 2 sides. Together. So if I reverse up here and reverse. Now the nice thing too is basically combining both velocities, because each are moving at the same time, and essentially that is a good thing because we can set both to a lower speed, and combined they move at a faster speed. So that's pretty nice. Let's hit a block up here. Then grab a merge block. I don't know why I'm on that toolbar. Now, as you can see, I can't just place the merge block onto each other. It doesn't really like that. And so, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to raise this up and then lower it so they actually run through each other, and that should cause it to merge. So, that is placed now. They are in line, and they should technically merge. Now, it might fight each other a little bit in doing so, as they're rubbing together. And then there you go. They're merged. And now at that point, we can drag out our center blocks, get rid of these. And now we have a platform held up by 2 pistons. So that is, in my opinion, the best way to do it. And I think it's the only way to do it. So really, the best way is the only way. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and work on this platform, get it all pretty looking. Carve out a little hangar just for a temporary spot so you guys can see how this all functions. And I think we'll call it an episode there. Alright, so I think my basic landing pad is working. And I do want to show it to you guys. So basically there is a sensor block in the middle there. If I don't hit my mouse and cause it to just jerk upwards. And that triggers a timer block for 10 seconds. So you have about 10 seconds to get on the pad and lock your gears. And then it's just going to start lowering. And it doesn't sense players. So, you know, I don't have to worry about triggering it myself. It only senses small ships. So we'll go ahead and get in this thing here. And hover over. So basically, I like to come in from the side. Uh-oh. If I don't start drifting too much. I really need to add more side thrusters on this thing because it floats around, I think, a little too drifty. Okay, and then we just get landed. Lock our gear, turn off our initial dampeners in case that messes with the pistons at all. And then we start lowering down. So we'll lower down into the hangar bay for all the small vehicles, or at least aircraft-wise. Okay. And it's open, and I carved away some of the blocks to make them more struts. Okay, and I'll turn inertial dampeners back on. We can unlock. Just rotate around here. Center my camera a little bit so I can see. And off we go. And you can watch after 10 seconds or so, that will lift off. And that closes up automatically. Everything's all safe and sound down here in the hangar bay going forward. So also, we can also build our ships down here as well, so we don't have to risk being on the surface with our precious resources in case anything bad happens up there. Yeah, I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of the timer blocks, how they work. I'm probably using them very inefficiently, but essentially the sensor triggers this timer block here. It counts down to 10. Okay? And then that reverses the pistons from their current state. And then once you leave the sensor's range, it triggers this timer block, which instantly triggers this one to start again, and it will cause it to go in reverse. So that's essentially how that works. I'm sure there's just an easier way to do it, but that's the solution I came up with. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe for more creative goodness. Go ahead and leave a comment down below on what you guys want to see me build next. Leave a like, leave a dislike, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.